What's up, YouTube? It's Brian from B-Town Doors, and first things first, we just hit 100 subs. Thank you guys so much. I wonder if there's something in here I could use to celebrate. I guess this will work. Oh yeah, 100 subs, baby. Ow, shit. Thank you guys so much for 100 subs. Been doing videos for a year. Might not sound like a bunch, 100 subs, but given the fact that I only had 20 before hunting season is pretty cool, which means I gained 80 subscribers in 4 or 5 months. So that's really cool, so thank you guys. Second off, if you clicked on this video because you thought I was going to show you step-by-step of how to set up a bow, this is not the video for you. I did those videos last year, and all those videos are in the description below, so if you watch me you know, set my drop away rest, you want to know how to do that, the video will be in the description below. This video is just kind of step-by-step of what I do. Again, not going into detail, but showing you everything that I do. I'm on archery talk a lot, and I see a lot of people, you know, how do you set up your bow step-by-step? What are the process you take? So I'm gonna kind of just make this short little vlog. So right now I'm heading to Sportsman's Warehouse to get another padding for my shelf, because I thought the new rest that I bought came with one, so I took my old one off, and since I spray painted my bow, I now have a black bow with a tiny rectangle that's not painted. So I'm gonna go to Sportsman's Warehouse, look for another kind of those rubber paddings for in case your arrow hits the shelf or whatever. If not, if I don't find one, I might just paint it. So yeah. So this field right here is like 2 minutes away from my house, and there is some deer in there, and I have seen a couple bucks, so I might actually try shed hunting right here, maybe a couple times. So I don't know, I found a shed at my work, so I guess there could potentially be some sheds in there. Mission accomplished. So before I do anything on my bow, right after I put new strings on, the first thing I like to do is put my rest on. The rest is going to be the perfect guideline where your D-loop's supposed to be and also your sight's going to be. So I install my rest first and foremost. The next thing you do is install your sight, and the reason I put my peep sight on before is because it's very important. So all sights, whether they're dovetail or hard mount, have adjustability. You can either bring it in closer to your riser or further away. I like to put my peep sight on before I do my sight is because you can adjust your sights closer or further away to a riser, whether it's a dovetail, whether it's a hard mount. I like to go in the middle for starters, draw back my bow, get anchored nice, look through my peep sight, and you want your peep sight perfectly around your housing. So draw back, and you might notice that you've got way too much gap between your peep sight and your sight, or your peep sight, your sight's way too close. So like I said, put it in the middle and then adjust from there closer or further away to the riser. As far as your left and rights go, a good rule that I've done, and it's taken away a lot of work when I do a paper tune, when I do a French tune or a walkback tune, and that is I knock an arrow and look straight down my bow, and I like to line up the arrow with the string, so I know that I'm looking straight down the exact middle of my bow, and I like to line up my sight just a tiny bit to the right of that arrow. I want the pin here and the arrow about right there. If you're left-handed, it's going to be to the left side. I don't know how true that is, but it's worked for me in the past 3 years I've been setting up my own bow. So go ahead and do that. Once you get your rest in the perfect position, then go ahead and tie in your D-loop, and then put your bow in a press, tie in your timing cord, and also get your peep sight installed. Unfortunately for me today, I did not time my rest or install my peep sight because I didn't tell you guys in the spray painting video, but I actually maxed out my bow. If you look at your riser and your limbs in between, you're going to have a little tiny gap you can barely see, or you can see a lot depending on what weight your bow is. I maxed out my limbs to eliminate any gap there was, just so I didn't get any spray paint in there. And then when I put my strings on, I had to back out my limbs so my bow would press a lot easier. I don't have a bow scale, so I have no idea what weight it's at right now or how to get that back to 65, 70 pound range that I was before. So I'm not going to time my rest or put in my peep sight, because as you press your bow, your limbs either come further away or come closer together, just depending on how far your limb bolt is, in or out, I guess, essentially. And 99% of bow hunters aren't going to notice, but it is going to either lengthen or shorten your draw length. It's not going to be by much, maybe an 1/8 to a 1/4 of an inch, but it does affect your peep sight location, and it could affect timing on your rest. So I'm actually going to take my bow to a bow shop and have them get it back to the 60-pound range, 65-pound range, and then I can time my rest and also install my peep sight. Once I got my peep sight in and my timing cord tied in, I like to kill 2 birds with 1 stone and actually time my rest and sight of my peep sight at the same time. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna knock an arrow, you're gonna draw back, get in your anchor, get perfectly anchored. As you draw back, that's going to time your rest, and then you can get nice and anchored and set where that peep sight is supposed to be. Once you get your peep sight where it's supposed to be, tie it in, and you're done. So if you installed your P, your D loop, your sight, and your arrow rest, now it's time to do everything else. So your rest is your sight's going to have some mounting bolts that you can attach your quiver to. So go ahead and do that, and also install your stabilizer and your wrist strap, and you guys are good to go shooting. Now you've completely set up your bow, it's onto the tuning process. I like to paper tune. And some people might say paper tuning is useless. They're idiots and they're completely wrong. Paper tuning is so important to the tuning process of your bow. People say, yeah, paper tuning, you're just trying to fang your right and left in your rest, but you're just gonna mess it up when you French tune or walk back tune. That is true, but I don't paper tune to find the left and right. I paper tune to find the up and down of my rest, and also I use paper tuning to tell me what's going on with my bow. Am I shooting the wrong spine arrow? Do I need to add a couple twists to my yoke? That's such a good tool. So if I know that my rest is pretty good in line just by judging it. So if I've got a crazy right or a crazy left tear, I know there's something else wrong. If I shoot my bow through the paper and I'm pretty much dead on center, but I'm a little high or low, I know that I need to adjust high and low, and then I know that I'm good to go and I'm good to start continue on the tuning process. And if I shoot through paper and I'm just a tiny bit left or right, then I know it is my rest and I'm good to go. I don't need to find that perfect bolt hole. Again, there's more information in the paper tuning video in the description below, but please do not skip the paper tuning process. Next off, you can do what's called a French tune or a walk back tune. I personally prefer French tuning, but I also walk back tune first. So I'm gonna French tune and then I'm gonna walk back tune. And if I've done the French tuning right, walk back tuning should be a breeze and I shouldn't have to adjust anything on my bow. However, if I do have a couple weird shots, I know that my bow is perfectly in line for the French tune, and there's something wrong either with my arrow, maybe I've got a warped arrow, maybe my fletchings are off, so that's going to be a good indicator too. You can also go ahead and group tune your arrows. That's a good way to start too. Take however many arrows you have, whether it's 2 arrows, whether it's 18 arrows, shoot every single one. Stand at 20 yards, shoot every single one, and if you have a couple flyers, then you know that they're fletched funny or they're different spine. You might not see it visually, but the flight of the arrow is definitely going to show you. So say you shoot 20 arrows and you've got 17 perfectly in grouped at 20 yards, and you've got 3 or 4 that's off from the group, you know those arrows are flying kind of funny. What you're going to do is just turn that knock 1/4 to 1/8 of a turn until you can get that arrow flying back in the group. The reason I like to do that is because when I'm in the tuning process and I have an arrow that flies different from the other ones, it might affect the way that I tune my bow. So make sure you group tune all your arrows first. Once you've paper tuned, French tuned, walk back tuned, it is time to broadhead tune. Broadhead tuning is the staple of how your bow is shooting. If you can get your broadheads to fly the exact same way and hit the exact same place on the target as your field tips, you know your bow is so perfect that you don't have to adjust at all anymore. So go ahead and broadhead tune. I don't have a video of broadhead tuning, so you're not gonna find that in the description below. I'll do one later this year, but broadhead tuning's very, very easy. It's going to, like I said, help you in the long run, and it's going to tell you when your bow is completely perfectly in tune. After that, you guys are good to go sight in your sights, and you're good to just go shoot, go 3D shooting, go target shooting, and go hunting. So make sure you do all those steps. That's at least the steps that I take, and that's helped me the 3 years that I've set up my own bow. So go ahead and go do that. Go and shoot. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys learned something. Get out. It's January. Go shoot. It's like 8-9 months till bow season, but that doesn't matter. I want you to shoot 3 or 4 times a week. I'm going to shoot 3 or 4 times a week once I get my bow set up. When August rolls around, I know that I've been shooting for 7-8 months. When I have an animal in my pin, I know that I have the confidence to get that animal down and fill my tag. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Have a good day. I'll see you later.